Hey there, science fans! Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of quadratic equations. You might be asking, quadratic equations? What are those? Well, get ready to find out. In the world of algebra, quadratic equations are like the cool kids on the block. They're equations that involve a variable squared, like x squared. That's right, the variable gets an exponent. These equations pop up all the time in math and even in the real world. We use them to model everything from the path of a basketball to the shape of a satellite dish. So, buckle up because we're about to embark on a quadratic adventure. Now, one of the coolest things about quadratic equations is that their graphs are these awesome U-shaped curves called parabolas. You've seen parabolas before even if you didn't realize it. Think about the Golden Gate Bridge. Its cables form a graceful parabola. Or how about the arc of water spraying from a fountain? That's a parabola in action. Parabolas can open upwards, forming a U shape or downwards, creating an upside-down U. The way the parabola opens depends on the equation itself. But enough about the shape, let's get to the heart of the matter, the standard form of a quadratic equation. Every quadratic equation has a secret code, a standard form it likes to wear. This standard form is x squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Don't let the letters scare you. Here's the breakdown. A, b, and c are numbers called coefficients. They tell us things about the shape and position of the parabola. X is our variable, the unknown we want to find. For example, in the equation 2x squared plus 5x minus 3 equals 0, our coefficients are a equals 2, b equals 5, and c equals negative 3. See, not so scary after all. Okay, so we've got our quadratic equation in standard form. Now how do we solve for x? That's where the mighty quadratic formula comes in. The quadratic formula is like a magic wand that helps us find the solutions, also known as roots, of any quadratic equation. It's a bit of a mouthful, but here it is in all its glory. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all over 2a. Yep, it's a bit of a doozy, but trust me, it's not as intimidating as it looks. This formula is our key to unlocking the secrets of quadratic equations. Section 5. Applying the formula, a step-by-step guide. Now, let's break down how to use this powerful formula step by step. Step 1. Identify a, b, and c. Look at your quadratic equation in standard form and write down the values of a, b, and c. Step 2. Substitute the values. Carefully plug in the values of a, b, and c into the quadratic formula. Step 3. Simplify. Use your math skills to simplify the expression under the radical, the square root sign and any other operations. Step 4. Solve for x. You'll usually get two solutions for x because of the plus-minus sign in the formula. Calculate both solutions. And there you have it. 4 simple steps to conquer any quadratic equation. Section 6. Example 1. Solving for x. Let's try an example. Say we have the equation x squared plus 3x minus 4 equals 0. Step 1. Identify a, b, and c. In this case, a equals 1, b equals 3, and c equals negative 4. Step 2. Substitute. Plugging these values into the quadratic formula, we get x equals negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 3 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 4, all over 2 times 1. Step 3. Simplify. Let's simplify that expression under the radical x equals negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 plus 16, all over 2. X equals negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 25, all over 2. X equals negative 3 plus or minus 5, all over 2. Step 4. Solve. Now we have two equations to solve. x1 equals negative 3 plus 5, all over 2, which equals 1, and x2 equals negative 3 minus 5, all over 2, which equals negative 4. So, the solutions to our equation are x equals 1 and x equals negative 4. We did it! Section 7, Example 2, another quadratic conquest. Let's tackle one more example just to solidify our quadratic superpowers. How about 2x squared minus 7x plus 3 equals 0? Step 1. Identify. We've got a equals 2, b equals negative 7, and c equals 3. Step 2. Substitute. Time to plug those values into our trusty formula. X equals 7 plus or minus the square root of negative 7 squared minus 4 times 2 times 3, all over 2 times 2. Step 3. Simplify. Let's break it down. X equals 7 plus or minus the square root of 49 minus 24, all over 4. x equals 7 plus or minus the square root of 25, all over 4. X equals 7 plus or minus 5, all over 4. Step 4, solve. 2 equations, 2 solutions. X1 equals 7 plus 5, all over 4, which equals 3. And x2 equals 7 minus 5, all over 4, which equals 1/2. Boom! We've conquered another quadratic equation. The solutions are x equals 3 and x equals 1/2. Section 8. Key takeaways and quadratic wisdom. As we wrap up our quadratic journey, let's remember these key points. Quadratic equations are equations with a variable squared, like x squared. They graph as parabolas, which are U-shaped curves. The standard form of a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. The quadratic formula is our secret weapon for finding solutions or roots to these equations. Don't be afraid to tackle quadratic equations. With practice, you'll be a pro in no time. Section 9. Conclusion. Conquering the quadratic challenge. Congratulations, math explorers. You've journeyed into the world of quadratic equations, learned their secrets, and emerged victorious. Remember, the quadratic formula is your trusty sidekick on this mathematical adventure. So, the next time you encounter a quadratic equation, don't panic. Embrace the challenge, whip out your formula, and show that equation who's boss. Keep those quadratic skills sharp, and until next time, stay curious.